Hi everyone, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're doing Thursday Night Live. I know everybody's going to be hopping on in just a few minutes. So today we are talking about kind of our crazy dreams. Now, this is just the beginning of our crazy dreams. I know that sounds really, yeah, they're about to get, I want to say like more intense, but they're going to get even more wild and crazy. Over the next couple of months. I'm going to explain everything in just a second, but I'm going to start my intro on YouTube and Facebook. And then I'll actually post this. I keep trying to remember to post this on Instagram. So give me just a second. Let me get this going and then we'll get started. So on Instagram, are y'all ready to learn about your dreams and how they're going to be really affecting you? Not only now in June, but for the next several months. It's one of those, or July, it is going to be getting really crazy in our dreams. So I'm going to explain all of this. Why is this happening? What's going on? And it's going to be amazing. So if you've got a dream, make sure you post some information. I will be all excited to hear about your dreams. Okay, so let's hear about your dreams. I'm so excited about this. So, as you click on, let me kind of give you the stats. Literally, the planet that affects, I will say, almost everybody's dream. I would say like 99.9%, maybe 99.7% of people, their dreams are affected about Neptune in retrograde. And let me give you the dates, and I'm going to explain why Neptune affects our dreams so much. If you have a dream that you want me to post, do you want me to interpret for you? Make sure, number one is make sure that you give me a clear dream. It can't be like partial this and partial that. One of the other ones is sometimes like people want to use like terms like he said this to me in the dream. I need to know who he is. If you saw anything in your dream, make sure that you tell me about it. Like if you saw a snake or a rabbit or a frog or whatever it is, what color was it? What was it doing? How did you feel about it? All those kind of like little bitty details will help me kind of interpret the dream for you. So it kind of gives you a better or more accurate understanding of what your dream is and what message your dream has. We're going to talk about everything. So let's start out with way back March 9th of 2023, we had Neptune start into pre-retrograde or pre-shadow energy. It turned and stationed full retrograde on June 30th. It will stay in full retrograde until December 6th of 2023. And then it'll enter post-shadow energy where it starts to lighten up and kind of get a little bit easier. And it will get out of post-shadow energy on March 25th. So literally a month and a few weeks is Neptune in retrograde. All during this time frame, during pre-shadow, your dreams will get kind of more weird and more kind of like, this is interesting. Why is this happening? And then in full retrograde from June 30th through December 6th, it's going to kind of be wonky. Sometimes you'll have like 2 or 3 dreams about the same thing. Sometimes your dreams can have different messages. Hi, Miss Carmen. So that's kind of like those interesting ones. And then in post-shadow, they'll kind of be getting easier and that sort of thing. So I've got one on Instagram. Hey, Miss Blissful. So hold on. I'm going to explain. I'm going to get your dream in just a second. Neptune is really our dreamy planet, and it's really talking about like our dream life. What do we want to do? Our intuition, our spirituality is all coming forward. And this happens like annually when Neptune goes into retrograde. And we can really be swept away during this time frame with like fantasies, getting out, kind of like escapism, kind of like I just want to get away from everybody. I usually call it kind of more like we want to chill out and relax a lot. This is when a lot of people kind of go into that watching the same movies or the same shows, like they sit down. What is it called? It's called something. It's called something. So like people will watch like the same, like the whole series or the whole thing, binge watching. That's what it is, binge watching the same thing. And so it's kind of like this really kind of like, I don't want to be in my real life. I want to just zone out. So that's what we're talking about. Neptune really kind of can help us kind of like overindulge into that. So kind of like that whole zone out zone, and really wants us to like overindulge in the relaxation, and almost to the point of like really not wanting us to like live in our real lives. And this is just kind of the season of it, and it always happens around this time frame. So just know that this happens every year, and every year our dreams just kind of amp up and kind of get a little crazy. But I'm going to be talking about, if you've got a dream, make sure you post it for me. I will be doing those in just a second. And then if no one's got a question out there for me about their dream or haven't posted anything, I will be kind of telling you some of the common, most profound dreams and their meanings, kind of like, what is it about? So I will tell you, letting yourself understanding like what you should be doing during this time frame. A lot of times you're having the crazy dreams because you're not meditating enough. You're not really allowing your kind of like your mental side of you to kind of calm down and relax. And you're kind of like just kind of dealing with everyday life constantly. So that kind of can just get a little crazier. And I will tell you, grounding a little bit more. That doesn't mean you need to be grounding like every day, but grounding from time to time will actually be a really good thing for people to do during this time frame. So I've got one online on Instagram. So let me go back up here. It's not a terribly long one. Okay. So this is from Blissful. Bliss says, I had a dream about a male cousin, about a male cousin that was, I hate that when it happens. Okay. A male cousin was obsessed with me, and he was watching my every move. He was really jealous about me, talking to people and watching my every move. Last night I had a dream. I was in Walmart shopping, and I hurt my leg. And I was hopping around on, it was my right leg. Thank you for letting me know what your right leg. So what the message is, that it may not be your cousin. If you know what I'm saying, like if it's your cousin in real life, that's what they're talking about. But it's kind of more like that male energy coming around. And I also feel like there's some male energy that you haven't been dealing with, kind of like your right leg having issues or problems and hopping around on it, kind of like that kind of energy is all about kind of like standing in your own power, but you're almost like trying to make it more firm because you're hopping. Anything that you kind of pound down is going to make it more firm. Kind of like, think about like putting like frosting into a container like that. You kind of pound it down to kind of get it more like stiff, or kind of get it so it's set up well. So this is kind of like your way of kind of like amping up your energy. And I will tell you too, Bliss, that in some past lives you have had some energy where you kind of like ignore the signs. And so it's kind of like your cousin watching you or keeping an eye on you, like you were aware of it, but he was doing it way more often than what you thought he was doing. So that can be overwhelming for you as well. So just know that that's kind of like the crazy side of it. So make sure that you're kind of keeping your eyes open during this time frame. And it may not be this male cousin. It could be that cousin could just represent other males. It could be representing other energies where you just need to keep an eye out for things. Not being scary, but just make sure you're keeping an eye out for things. So if you have any other dreams for anybody else, make sure that you are posting them, and I will do my best to decipher them for you. One of the things I found is kind of interesting is like there really isn't like one definitive answer of like, why do we dream? Kind of like there isn't really like, why do we dream? But there's a lot of different philosophies or ideas, and some of it is psychology, some of it is spirituality. But I will tell you, kind of one of the things that I get is usually I have, and usually maybe some of my clients as well, kind of get overwhelmed, is that there's a lot of different dreams that come to me, and like I have a lot of angels come and talk to me, people's other spirit guides and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like, yeah, this is kind of one of those crazy ones that can be overwhelming. But I will tell you, your dreams are coming in to give you kind of that interesting energy, and kind of giving you that insight. Now that you can have people that have passed come and visit you in a dream, so that can be a really interesting one. Usually kind of your kind of that energy is that message is like, what is your message? Kind of like, what are they coming to tell you? Who was this and why are they coming to tell you? So that's kind of one of those interesting ones. So if you have a dream, I'm only answering, I know I've got a lot of other questions out there, but I'm only answering your dream questions, dream interpretations. So if no one has any other dreams, I'm going to go into kind of like some of the most common things about dreams. So kind of like one of those kind of interesting ones. One of the number one, when I was doing research on this, like the number one thing to dream about, which I thought was like really weird, is being out in public somewhere and all of your teeth falling out. I was like, okay, that's really interesting. Usually it signifies a lot of stress and anxiety, and your teeth can be all about you, like your appearance or how you would dream you want to be. So it's kind of like that kind of energy that can be like, interesting. It's one of those, you may not feel like comfortable in your own skin or kind of embarrassed about something that you really can't fix or repair. So that's kind of one of those. If you have a dream kind of like about this, is you could also deal with some type of self-confidence issues, and it can be something that's short-term. I've had clients have this dream about teeth falling out when they are going through a time where like maybe they're on a medication that they're gaining a little bit of weight on, or something like maybe they got like a weird haircut and it hasn't grown out yet. So it's kind of can be one of those like kind of crazy ones. So let's go to YouTube, and Kathleen has one on there. Kathleen says, I had a vivid dream last week. I remember being in a random house, and a family was looking for my cousin and told me to look for her. So I went upstairs to look, but instead of my cousin being there, it was a random blonde girl. Okay. Just in perfect timing, Kathleen, you did it. Random blonde girl, and I felt attracted to her more than I ever have been to anyone before. It was so intense that we began making out. No, it's not TMI because it's your dream. So I just can't stop thinking about it, and okay, so the random house is feeling a dream about a random house or a house that you've never been in. It's not like your friend or your neighbor or something like that. Like I've been in there once or twice and like that sort of thing. So I will tell you that being in a random house in a dream is all about being out of place or feeling out of sorts or feeling like you don't belong. So that's part of it. Your family telling you to look for something. It's like your family telling you to look deeper within inside of yourself, kind of like what's coming in or what's kind of like there's something in you that you may be hiding as well. Your family's looking for that as well. It's kind of like we're telling you to look inside of yourself for this. Going upstairs is kind of representation of like you going into higher realms or kind of higher existence. So kind of like your energy is on the rise if you went upstairs into the upper room. Feeling really attracted to someone. I feel like the person that you were really attracted to, the random blonde girl, really represents kind of like your desire to be with someone and feel accepted, and kind of feeling like that instant like boom, we've made this great connection. So that can be like awesome. Let's see, is there anything else? I also get that, Kathleen, that maybe some of this could come in because you were saying it's a very vivid dream. Sometimes really vivid dreams could be part of a past life. So it could be part of a dream, but it could also be part past life as well. So just so you kind of know. So that's kind of like that kind of that energy of it. So, okay, let me go back up. I've got Instagram is misbehaving. Okay. Listen, I only do one dream interpretation. I know it's kind of crazy because I've got some other people that are coming through with some other dreams for me to interpret. I'm going to do one more thing. That this is one that I will tell you that's kind of one of those interesting ones. You're very welcome, Kathleen. Hopefully that really helps. Some people during Neptune in retrograde will have some really amazing dreams. I'm going to give you kind of some 1, 2, 3s on this. Number 1, get a click pen. They are your freaking best friend. Get a notebook, put it by your bedside. And what I do is I literally write the date at the very top corner of it so I can kind of keep track of when I had the dream. Because a lot of times, like, you'll have part of a dream one night and part of a dream another night. So that's kind of one of those special things. When you have the dream, my husband is a very light sleeper, so I grab my notebook and my pen and I go in the other room and kind of like jot down everything I can. You want to kind of do all of your who was there, what were they doing, how did you feel about it, what were they wearing, did they have any like vividness, like Kathleen was saying, like kind of vividness to their dreams. Did any person or anything have like a hue or an iridescent feel or quality to it? Were you drawn to someone? So you want to like write that down. I usually can go straight back to bed, so I can just like jot all of this stuff down. I don't even turn on lights, I just like write it all down. And I will usually on average have like 3 to 4 different dreams per night. So that's just me. One of the things is people can have dreams that go into your past life and they will have more of a vivid or kind of like that iridescent quality to more items. So it's kind of important to kind of keep an eye on that. If you have no idea what time frame the dream is at, where it kind of like it could have been a past life, I'm not 100%, what I will say is look at your shoes. Your shoes can tell you a lot of information. Now, clothing can tell you a lot of information as well, so it totally can. But your shoes can tell you a lot of information of kind of that kind of energy. So those are kind of like my do's and my whys about dreams. And I usually keep a dream notebook by my bedside year round, but I especially keep, if I'm getting close to an end of a notebook and about to start the next one, I guarantee you I am like changing it out early when Neptune's in retrograde, because I will have some like really interesting dreams. I had a dream the other night with a ghost that took me on a tour to go see where he passed in World War I. So that was a really interesting one. And I will be doing a video on that one really soon. So I will tell you the number 2 most common dream for people to have is a dream about being naked in public. And this is super, super, super common. Usually people will have kind of that energy of like they're having this dream. It's one of those, or sometimes like they're not naked to start with and they take off their jacket or their coat or their sweater and then all of a sudden they're completely naked. Dreaming that you're naked in public is all about feeling shame or anxiety right now. Kind of like something in your current life is showing you that there's some shame that you have, not necessarily that someone else put on you, but you have it about something. So that's something to kind of like think about that. I will tell you, there's something that you feel very vulnerable about or very stressed about, or the stress is making you feel vulnerable. So it's kind of like, where is this coming in from? Dreaming about like at work, kind of if you're having a dream about being naked at work, or kind of like school, if school is your kind of like when you're in school or college or high school or something like that, that's kind of is your work. That would be kind of this self-esteem or self-confidence. Like I'm not on the same level as everybody else. And it doesn't mean, hopefully it means that no one else told you this. It may be an inner thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm prepared. I don't feel like I'm prepared for this. So that can be a very interesting one. Just kind of one of those interesting ones. The third most common dream that people have is fear, like someone is falling, and this could be that you fall off of something or you fall into something. Now, I will tell you, this one's kind of an interesting one because it can be all about just the dream itself. It can be just the dream of falling, and usually that's anxiety, or kind of like trying to wake up your world, kind of like I'm trying to get out of this like cocoon, or I'm trying to kind of like deal with something that I don't know how to deal with. But the other one is kind of, you will have a dream about falling, and it could be from a past life. Most people, because we've had a lot of past lives, have died in some crazy, interesting ways. So sometimes you will have a dream about a past life, like how you passed in that previous life. And sometimes for me, I will have like a dream that I'm falling, but I'll realize like later on that this is all about not necessarily me falling, but it's like in this life, it's me falling in a previous life. Bliss is saying, I used to have drama when I was younger, that I would be falling off a building. I will tell you, that is kind of one of those interesting ones that a lot of people have. Like, this is the third most common dream that they've done on this research. That is kind of like really interesting, but I tell you, that kind of has two sides. So it could be just like feeling anxious about kind of waking up your world, or kind of anxious about what's going on and feeling out of control. Because when you're falling, you're kind of out of control. No one's really in control. You're just kind of by yourself. And then the other part could be that it's coming in from a past life. And I will tell you, it usually has a little bit iridescent quality to it, or it has like a real fear with it. Like, you'll wake up and your like heart is pounding, and hands are sweaty, feet are sweaty. Sometimes I'll just be like dripping sweat of just like, oh my gosh. And in my house, it's cold at night. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh. The fourth most common dream, yeah, this is what Bliss is saying. When I used to have them as dreams like that, I would wake up sick with anxiety. So if it's anxiety, a lot of times dealing with the anxiety, or kind of talking yourself through the anxiety, can really help with that. The fourth most common dream that people have is about being pregnant. And there's 2 or 3 different things that we could kind of go into being pregnant in a dream. I've even had men have dreams that they were pregnant. So it's kind of like, really? I know it's not about a man necessarily getting pregnant. It's more about what the dream is telling you. So kind of a dream about pregnancy, one of them can be very symbolic, like you are about to start a new chapter in your life. Like, the old chapter's gone and now there's a new chapter. Like, you've graduated from college and now you're getting, your grown-up job, or you've graduated high school and going into college. Like, you're making a major kind of like big chapter shift for you. So that could be number 1. Number 2 is it's signifying like a journey that you're going onto, and you're about to start this journey, kind of like coming into something new. The third one is pregnancy can be that you are about to give birth. Hold on, give me a second. It could be something that you are trying to birth or create in your world. Even if you're a man, it could be something you're about to create. It could be you're trying to create a new business or a new job or a new opportunity. You're trying to build something from scratch. Because you think about a baby, it's like two little cells that get together and they kind of grow into this big baby. So it's kind of like, that's what, when you're trying to build a business, you're kind of doing the same thing. You're adding like these little elements of things, hoping that they're going to grow into something spectacular. So it's kind of like, yeah. I will also tell you that the fifth one in being pregnant during your dream can be a kind of like an interesting one. It can be kind of like things that you need to let go of, because after a baby is born, there's afterbirth that needs to be taken care of and that sort of thing. So it could be some like changes in that area that you're ready to let go of things or release things from the past. And so this could be kind of like, I'm ready to let this go. So that can be like an interesting kind of energy with it. So like if y'all have another dream, I've got a little bit of time. So if you have a dream, make sure that you want to interpret. Make sure you give me all the information. No words like his or hers. Like, make sure you give me names of who you're talking about. This one is kind of an interesting one. Like, the fifth most common dream is being chased. Now, when I was a child, this is the dream that I had over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where I got to the point where I had to stop. I was like, this is crazy. So being chased can be really scary. Sometimes people say like, it looked like the person who was chasing me had like a gun, a knife, a bat or stick, or something like gonna hurt me in some way. Or in my case, it was like a monster, someone who was really big, and I was a child, so I was running as fast as I could and somebody keeps chasing me. It can be like, seems like no matter what you're doing, like you're not moving fast enough. So that can be part of that dream energy of like, you're trying to run as fast as you can, but you can't get away from what you're trying to run away from. I will tell you, being chased by people, persons, monsters, all of that can kind of have the same meaning. You're trying to run away from something, something that you should be trying to address in your real world, something that you should be kind of like dealing with in your real world. or you're trying to avoid something. So that can be like a very interesting aspect of it. So that can be, um, 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 so this can be an interesting aspect for us. Sorry, I had something pop up on my screen. So kind of like being chased in your dream can be one of those that can be very overwhelming. Like I said, at some point when I was a kid, I was really tired of this and kind of like tired of having this dream. And I had had the same dream almost every night for probably like couple of years. I can't remember exactly how many years, but it was always like on almost like a soundstage. So it's just like literally white walls, dark spots, kind of like one of those, like there's really nothing that you can hide behind. There's nothing. And, it was just running as fast as I could. In my dream, like I said, I got to the point where I was just like, I'm freaking over this, like kill me, eat me, whatever it is, like just stop chasing me. I'm over this. And when I actually stood there and kind of was like face to face with the monster literally reached up and kind of unzipped it. And when it did, like the whole costume fell apart and it was me standing there talking to me. And so it was one of those very profound dreams for me. I think I was at the time, I was probably like 6 or 7. And I literally sat there and had it seemed like forever communication with myself of just talking myself through all of this and really having this great conversation. I never told anybody about it. It was just one of those like crazy, just kind of like, here we are, we're ready for all of this. So it's kind of like, yes, here we are. This was one of those, we got this. Let's see. I will tell you. And so for me, it was kind of more like face this fear, face this, what's going on with you. I can tell you just kind of one of those like, yeah, crazy. I will tell you, Bliss is saying, thank you. So sweet. Thank you so much for explaining my dream. I think that's kind of the interesting part. And now I will tell you between now, because Neptune went into retrograde June 30th, and it won't get out until like December 6th. So I will be doing several dream interpretations. So if you have some other dreams and you're kind of like, I can't quite figure this one out, make sure that you save it up and post it another time. If you are in my newsletter, I will tell you, I'm posting that on YouTube and Facebook, and I will put it later on. I will add that to Instagram as well. Sign up for my newsletter. It's one of those, you get to know the news first, kind of what's going on, what all this kind of stuff. But I also will tell you like what I'm doing for my Thursday night lives. You'll know in advance. And sometimes people, when they know that they can't be there, if they can't like be there, they'll email me their dream ahead of time so they can go back and watch it later on when I answer their questions. So that can be kind of like, oh my gosh. But I love doing Thursday Night Live. I love connecting with you guys. I had a client that texted me today and like, aren't you doing dream interpretations tonight? I'm like, okay. Thank you, Bliss. Bliss is like, I'm going to share on Instagram. I have been kind of redesigning my team for the last couple of months or so. And so I am going to be stepping out a little bit more on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and be doing a lot of TikToks, which I really haven't done. I've done a few. So I'm kind of getting into all of this. So this will be kind of like an interesting one. But I thank y'all for joining me. If you've got to schedule a reading with me, make sure that you go through my website. It is just my name, ruththeresa.com. You can go into readings with Ruth and kind of find out. There will be some amazing energies. Hello, Miss Jade. Some amazing energies coming up. We have some great events coming up. I've like really come together with some other people that are, we're supporting each other in our businesses. So that's kind of like, yes. Hi, Miss Jade. Miss Jade is always late because she has so much on her plate. And I will tell you, clairsensitives like her and I, we are always late for everything unless we really, really force ourselves. But dream interpretations is something that most people, she's telling me, Blissful is like, I'll be scheduling an appointment with you soon. I love doing readings, no matter where they are, on over, like we do it on the internet, over the phone, over the internet, like, oh my gosh, face to face. But there are some amazing events, some changes coming up in my business, some things that weren't expecting to change or modify. And now we're like in the mix of making some changes and modifying, which is kind of really one of those very interesting things, because besides Neptune being in retrograde, we also have Uranus in retrograde, and Uranus in retrograde is all about kind of one of those crazy things about technology. And so now we're rethinking some technology things, and that's where we've kind of added and had to change some people around in some different areas. And it's been kind of interesting. Some people that I thought were coming on this journey with me haven't, and then I've had some new people jump on. So this has kind of been like a very shifting, changing kind of thing. The other little thing that, if you don't know, there are some changes for me and my family. My son and his wife had a baby, so I'm a grandma. I was so excited. And so I will be taking a little bit of a step back in August to help them with the baby for a little bit. So I will still be seeing clients. I will still be and everything else, but it'll just be a modified schedule. So I can help take care of him for a little bit until he gets a little bit older and can go off to daycare, kind of those other things. Make sure that Miss Bliss is like, yes, congratulations. I'm so excited. I'm like so excited. He's just adorable. But like I said, if you were on my newsletter, you saw pictures of him. I'll post some new pictures of him. I'm like so excited. Being a grandma is like amazing. It's like the best job ever. It is like such the best job. But I will tell you, Pincha is Pincha. It's a hard name to pronounce. If you go to my website, if you go to, let me see, she's asking how to. So if you go to my website, which is www.ruththeresa, all one word, .com, and then go under the reading section, there will be a way to kind of like schedule with me. But yes, grandmahood has been so much fun and so much exciting. We are kind of getting some things changed around, and that's why we're kind of like actually kind of pushing us to make some changes, some different changes in some different ways. So it's going to be amazing. I'm so Pincha, Melissa. Okay, Melissa. I like that one better. But if y'all have any questions, y'all need to schedule a reading. I will be posting this out to Instagram in just a little bit, but it's already out on YouTube and Facebook. But share me with others. We've kind of really gotten into some of this. I'm trying to think like, next week we are doing fears that come in from your past life. A lot of people, not just dreams related, but there's a lot of things that come in from our past lives that we're just like afraid of, but there's no reason why we're afraid of something. Yeah, those usually come in from a past life. So that can be amazing. So just make sure that you kind of keep an eye on some things that you're kind of like, why am I afraid of this? Usually the things that you don't understand why you're afraid of something came in from a past life. That is just one of those like interesting tidbits. So I thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. And I know that we'll be talking again soon. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you soon.